Described by Robert Jackson as the Spitfire of World War I, the SE5 was undoubtedly one of the greatest fighters of the war. Designed by the Royal Aircraft Factory as a machine which was fast and agile, but also easy to use such that it would allow good pilots to be trained quickly. To this end it achieved both of these objectives, leading it to be widely regarded as the best British fighter of the war. The RAF Scout Experimental 5 was first designed by Henry Folland, John Kenworthy and Major Frank Goodden in 1916 as an effective new fighter. When compared to its main British rival in the contest for the best British fighter of the First World War, it is undoubtedly in competition with the Sopwith Camel. The Camel was a legendary plane, being introduced a few months earlier. It was smaller, lighter, more nimble and more basic, with a simple pair of Vickers machine guns, not to mention its quirks with its rotary engine. A fair summary would be that the Camel was a more exciting plane, allowing highly skilled pilots to have huge success. But that is not what counted in a war of such scale that up to 8 British pilots were dying every day. Replacements had to be trained fast before being shipped out to the front line. In such circumstances it is not the skillful, exciting plane that is needed, but a plane that is easy to use and reliable whilst still maintaining high specifications. The SE5 perfectly fitted this job. Furthermore, the SE5's high-quality design allowed it to travel faster and much higher, both clear advantages in the dogfights of World War I. As far as armament was concerned, it contained a .303 Vickers machine gun set up to fire forward through the propeller. For those who don't know, many First World War planes were set up to fire through the propeller so as to be in the pilot's eye line. In order to achieve this without blowing up the propeller, the triggers were linked to when the propeller turns. In order to increase its success whilst fighting, it contained a .303 movable Lewis gun mounted on the upper wings. This meant it could be used as an additional forward gun or be pulled round to attack planes from underneath. Both of these guns could be controlled with the typical British spade grips, allowing them to be fired quickly in the middle of a dogfight. The SE5 also contained a fairly insignificant set of 4 25-pound bomb racks, meaning it could be used in light strafing raids. The plane's introduction to the war was in the spring of 1917 in its original form of the SE5. This plane was equipped with a 150 horsepower Hispano-Suiza V8 engine. It quickly became evident that this engine was both unreliable and severely underpowered for a plane with so much potential. As such, it was upgraded to carry the 200 or 220 horsepower geared Hispano-Suiza engine. However, this engine had many supply issues, and as such British Aeronautical Company created the SE5a, an imitation of the Hispano-Suiza, but with more reliable parts and, naturally, a more reliable supply chain. This engine went on to be used in the vast majority of the 5,205 SE5s built. The plane did have some notable design features. One is the rather unusual windscreen around the front of the cockpit, earning the planes the nickname greenhouses. Many pilots thought it needlessly restricted vision and added weight, and as such removed it. In addition, the seat of the SE5 was significantly elevated above what would be considered standard, with the idea of giving the pilot better visibility over the lower wings. Many pilots took issue with this, feeling that visibility at a lower level was satisfactory and as such lowered the seat to save weight, improve comfort and to feel safer. The plane also contained an Aldi's gun sight, one which allows you to see the target location without complex eye alignment, allowing the forward gun to be aimed easily. Finally, the planes had a notably long exhaust system which was considered to greatly add to the weight, leading many people to strip it. The SE5 was part of the response to Bloody April. For those unfamiliar, Bloody April was a period in 1917 when the Allied air forces were being beaten at a rate of about 4-1. This stemmed partially from the difference in tactics, particularly regarding training and formations. But it also stemmed from the problem of the outdated planes that the Allies, especially the British, were flying. As mentioned above, alongside the Sopwith Camel, the SE5 helped introduce a new generation of competent fighters across the Western Front. The Bristol fighter is arguably the third plane to have been produced to this end. Being a two-seater, it served a slightly different purpose. However, together this trio of planes helped secure the Allies their vitally needed air superiority for the rest of the war. The SE5 was also the plane of choice for many great aces. The plane itself is credited for creating 215 aces, including Billy Bishop, James McCudden, and even Albert Ball. After the war, the SE5 was quickly scaled back. Its fast fighter design was incredible in aerial warfare based around chases and dogfights, but for regular use in the RAF it had few uses. Some were sent to Canada and Australia for their air forces, the rest were sold to private uses, with one being used for the first example of skywriting, advertising the Daily Mail. The SE5b was proposed in 1918 with a more aerodynamic nose and modified wings, but the design was not considered enough of an improvement. To conclude, the SE5 was perhaps the greatest fighter built in World War I. Its stability speed and shallow learning curve made it perfect for the intensity of the First World War. These qualities allowed it to surpass the Camel for kills to losses ratio. It is without doubt responsible for a major part of the Allies' success in aerial warfare, and truly does deserve the title the Spitfire of World War I. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like, and why not subscribe to and share our channel. Thanks for watching.